Shalom, this is Ashar by Ashrala out of Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Father and the Son in the proper true Hebrew tongue. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amoth. Also, double honors to our apostle down here in the Lions Den Camp, Aharwa Masharala, peace, blessings, 1/3, and sanctions to those for elect. It's going to be a lesson, that's going on the heathens, and ultimately them being made to be servants in the kingdom, and of course us being servants now, waiting patiently and doing the will of the Father, But this is what Second Esdras. It's like your Second Esdras chapter 6. I'm gonna start at verse 50. I'm gonna start at verse 54. It says, verse 54. It says, and after these things, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All right, so come, man. Ultimately, that's the bloodline we come from. We come Adam. You got Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. We are the root of Jesse. The house of David. It says I'm reading one more time. It says, after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. We're going to get the same abilities, in the kingdom. And just like how Adam had it in the very beginning, of course, it took a left turn with Eve. But hey, it is what it is. We're here now. We know good and evil. It's all a part of the Most High's plan, man. And now we finna get the kingdom, Lord willing, part of that number. The first fruits. All right. It says, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So come, man. The Lord has a orderly arrangement of stars, going against what the world, this world is actually the Oiklemene. I mean, yeah. What the actual world, this earth, believes to be the word world, meaning that the whole earth, earth meaning, but it meaning cosmos. The Lord chose a certain set of people to be His chosen ones, and those are the ones that come from Adam, man. And the other ones, those are just heathens, son of men. It says, verse 55. All this have all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast because thou madest the world for our sakes. So once again, yeah, the Lord made the earth and the universe as well, and that's what Yahweh Shai said. In my Father's house are many mansions. All right, the Lord made the earth for us. He made the universe for us. And we have to just go through the straits to get where the Lord wants us to be, man. To show the Lord that we truly love Him. It says, verse 56, as for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. All right, so come, man, look what the heathens are. And the heathens would be anyone outside of the nation of Israel. So anyone outside of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds, which is some of our people, they're like the other nations, scattered across the four corners of the earth, and you can't completely tell who is Jake. That's why it's called speckled bird, confusion of faces, But ultimately, the spirit, will you know by their fruits, they spirit, everything, But ultimately, 2/3 of people not even going to be able to make it out of this kingdom, out of Esau's kingdom. They're going to have to get their punishment on this side. All right, so and the Lord has compared them to a single drop of water out of a vessel, man, or a spittle. You don't look back at your spit. You don't count one drop of water from a bucket, man. That's what they mean to the Most High. They're gonna be servants for us in the kingdom, but nothing else. that they can get their own form of living, of course. But the Lord has chosen Adam. He chose his own children. Verse 57 says, "And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and devour us." All right, so that's right now. Esau and the other nations, they above Jacob. Of course, they below Esau. Esau's the king of the heathens, but they're definitely above us. You know, we're the Jake is the lowest of the low in this society, man. We're about damn near lower than iguanas or some millipedes. The way Esau be moving, you know, or below a dog or something. They don't defend yourself from a dog around Esau. He might he'll take you to jail or take away your life, man. That's how topsy. That's how backwards Esau is, man. It says but why thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, the only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands? If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? This is a rhetorical, because ultimately I don't say rhetorical. It has to be answered. The Lord has answered it for us. Ultimately, this is because this is a punishment, and this is a test. It's affliction. It's all of these things that we have to be put toward, to make us to purify us, man. As gold was purified in the fire, man. As we do during affliction, the furnace of affliction. So this has to happen. We got to go through this. These heathens that's above us, Esau that's above us, But the Lord says we are His children, though. Ultimately, even though they're spittle, they're ruling over us, and they're still spittle, even though they're ruling over us. They're going to ultimately be made to service once again, and shown us that, this is going to only endure until the kingdom, man. This is Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8. It says, "For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which have spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye." So anyone that touches the Lord's children has touched the apple of the Lord's eye. So all these nations, all right, they go for Esau, Ammon, Moab, the Cush, whoever laid Ham, Ishmael, one of the first ever slave trades, the Saharan slave trade, sub-Saharan slave trades, like you. But nonetheless, yeah, everyone has had a hand in the torment, the torture, and the great robbing and murder of Jake, But Esau has done the worst. He's the king of wickedness. He's the king of these heathens, and that it's pretty much solid, as you can see, because everybody, like the beast right now, NATO, and of course the whore right now. Look how everyone is above all the other places. Ultimately these other nations, such as Russia or India or freaking what's it called, China, like BRICS. They're coming together with their own dollar, with their own form of currency, and they're building allegiance to ultimately the powerhouse America, and that's ultimately prophesied that's how it'll happen. The nations are gonna be mad. They're crazy, but ultimately they're gonna understand what has to be done. They're gonna destroy this place. That's what the Lord is. That's what the Lord is fulfilling slowly but surely. Ultimately He takes some days, because it can go much slower, but it's really happening really fast, whether you know it or not. All right, this is John chapter 4:22. It says, "Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." All right, this is Yahweh Shai talking to a heathen by the well. I don't gotta get the full story, but nonetheless, um, yeah, this the salvation is not for heathens. It's not for. It's not even for all of Israel right now. It's only for 1/3 of the nation of Israel. You know, the kingdom's gonna be here later throughout the seed, and later and later and later. But ultimately, it's for the Lord's chosen children. It's for the Lord's 1/3 and His elect, and the Lord will impart that number. You know, it's not for anybody else. It's not even for 2/3 of our people to get salvation on this side, and it's not even for. It's definitely not for these heathens that has touched the apple of the Lord's eye. You know, slavery being overseers right now, having their way with with our in our communities and everything, and that's how Esau set up here. He set up to where all these Hamites and Ishmaelites and these Cushites can have anything they want to in Jake's community, but Jake can't have nothing. And hey, that's Esau, man. He's the king of wickedness. He know how to do it best. He's wiser than Daniel. If not him, he's gonna do it, man. You know. But yeah, once again, he says, "You worship, you know not what." We know what we worship for salvation of the Jews, man. Jews being Judah, Israel. All right. So once again, people think this is for the whole world. No, it's not for these heathens. Why would you want that to be done? Like it's literally all the scriptures that the heathens are Cush, Moab, and you do the general genealogy. You know who those regions is. Boom, the elders have done it. You know, brothers have done it. Man, it's in the scriptures. It's history. You know, but nonetheless, yeah, man, it's foolish to think that everyone will be saved, man, because that's gonna make the destruction of this place all the more satisfying, because everyone's gonna think that they can just be saved and quote unquote rapture. You know that word, rapture. You know that it is not in the King James and whatever, just a word. But nonetheless, yeah, it's salvation is of the Jews. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. It says, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven." All right. So this is for the one. This one for the 1/3. This for the elect. You know, because you have technically it's supposed to be 144,000. You know, Revelation 7 for us to be get out of there. The Lord had to seal His elect for our people to be saved, man. So Christians all together, man, Baptists or whatever, Buddhists, they have about like 3 billion, 1 billion, or another. I think another half a billion, 500 million. That's their demographic. That's their whole subscription. Everyone it's about roughly 3.5 billion people that's subscribed to either Buddhism, Christianity, or Catholicism, or yeah, boom. So roughly around that, or Hinduism. So suppose if that's the truth about them 3 billion that's subscribed to like Christianity and Catholicism, and it says in Scripture, Revelation chapter 7, that it got to be like it got to be 144,000 out of the like 12,000 out of each tribe. Why are we not out there? Why is it still what you call the murder going on? It's still grape going on, man. It's still everything bad in place going on, but that's because they're not of the Most High, man. They're obviously of Baal, Lucifer, Moloch. They're of the devil, man, the deceiver. They have Esau's matrix, today, meaning womb. They just in the system. They working through it. They're not doing nothing right. That's why it goes to show you, man, who the Lord's true servants are, man. It's not even all of his bloodline children, which is how it works, by the way. It's not even all of his bloodline children. It's only for the 1/3 of his bloodline children and hopeful elect which are the men of the 12 tribes of Israel. Lord will I'm part of that number. All right. So it says, but he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven. So those are the ones that's actually gonna get salvation. All right. This is Revelation chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 26. It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. It's for the elect. And Yahushua ultimately being our king, being our big brother, our savior. It says he gonna do the same. He gonna do that first foremost. Revelation 1:7. He coming with clouds, and every eye that pierced him, they shall well, man. Slightly paraphrasing. But it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So, man, that's what the Lord, Yahushua has received first. Do the same thing to these nations. He gonna have many crowns on his He gonna have many crowns in his hand because he's gonna let everybody. Every king of this earth, he gonna have to slay, and shoot. Yahushua has crowns to give, to his servants. Lord, we part of that number, sincere brethren. Once again, and those crowns will be cast to his feet because he's the best of the best, and we just servants. We just try to do what we need, man. And honestly, man, with that's in the scriptures. Cast your crowns to the Lord's feet. But we're just unprofitable servants, man. We don't even deserve to get salvation, but the Lord did it anyways. He could have been eradicated us and started all over, but he didn't. He had mercy. All right, literally mercy. He allowed us to have grace in this time period to know who we are, to know that we were once slaves in our past life. We were once, transgressors. We were once everything. Everything that happened in the scriptures, that's what we once were since the very beginning in Genesis, being tyrants. We was once tyrants with spiritual powers, but no wisdom, But now we have the knowledge and understanding. We know good and evil. We know the whole story, man. We know the shebang. We finish this thing up. We have to endure with patience and faith all the way to the end. And wait for Yahushua. Wait for this. At least wait for the beginning. The dollar collapse. That's gonna be the beginning of Jacob's trouble, and that's coming very soon, man. Look what everything is happening across the four corners of the earth, man. Thinking that this world not gonna be destroyed is crazy. I'm sorry. This Babylon not gonna be destroyed is crazy, man. Look at everything happening. It's bound to be. It could have been destroyed, but the Lord didn't want to do it. Then the Lord has to seal his elect. I would say Revelation 7 the four archangels hold back the four winds of the earth. Because this place could have been destroyed. It could have been. Come on, man. But this virgin of the Chaldees that has not been touched by any nuclear missiles, by any missile, nothing like that, is going to soon be covered with shame, man. But Lord willing, this is a fun little lesson on the heathens, going on the kingdom, going on to our big brother Yahushua. Lord willing is edifying. With that, I say shalom.